Okay, let's get this started. Oh man, today is going to be an interesting day. So let me go. I want to record this here locally so I have a backup. Yeah, so last night I was working on my game, although I think I fixed my server. So let's see if I can actually, if we can work off of my server finally again. Projects, GB Studio, meta tiles. Okay, so yesterday I came to the conclusion that the only way that this is going to actually work, this level editor, is if I write it in C. And I was running into a bunch of little problems that I was able to sort of rectify. But the biggest one at the end of the day is just I have a lot of rules around how I need these levels to work and how I need to match them up to the other things, mostly around being able to generate out the save code. So I need to make this map editor very fast and very efficient. And there's only one way I sort of know how to do that, and that's going to be through C. And me saying I sort of know how to do that is like a gross exaggeration. Let's do this. I'm gonna do this here on the same screen so we can all see it. Let's go to Chrome. I'm gonna go to ChatGPT, and we're gonna use ChatGPT to help us today. Possibly. All right, so let's put this guy over here. And I had a conversation going on yesterday with it, but I'm going to, let me just move this over here too, because we're going to need the majority of this to be here in C. So where do we start? So okay, so I've downloaded this MetaTile 8 plugin, and what I'm going to do is, I think for right now, oh, hey, this finally built. I totally forgot that I actually had a building. So here's where I left off with the tile map editor. It looks a little wonky because I was trying to get the, see what this white box is. I was trying to get that to work correctly so that I could see where it was really targeting, because the sprite offset, apparently 0, is at the base of the sprites, or at least when it comes to the tiles. So if I hit B, it would put it down to this position, and then I'd be able to get the tile ID, which I am technically getting through this plugin. But we're gonna spend some time here. I'm actually gonna switch over to this 04 mini high and see if this will be a little bit better. So the first thing we're gonna do is let's just tell ChatGPT what we need to do. So you are a Game Boy developer who knows C. You will be helping me build some custom logic into an existing, oh my god, I cannot spell, into an existing GB Studio plugin. I will show you all of the code for the plugin so you understand what it does. Then I'll explain how I need my tile map editor to work. Finally, you'll walk me through creating the C logic I'll need to execute this project. Are you ready? Oh, cool. ChatGPT is doing a thing where I can't hit return again. Ugh, whatever. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to give it all of the C stuff. So let's do this. Here is the engine. Actually, what I'm trying to think of what we should do here is I have a script that I use in some of my other projects. I'm going to go get it real quick. And we're going to have it... oh, shoot. I'm on Windows. I don't know how to get a bash script to work on Windows. But this is on my server, so I can load it up from there. All right, let's do this. Where is my print files file? All right. So in this plugin, we're going to create a new file called print files sh. And in this, we're going to paste in this logic. And all this script really does is it allows me to, actually, let's open up the terminal here. Edit. I want to view the new terminal. So what this script does is, wait, what is this saying? Always run. Oh, wait. Sure. It's funny, I have like the text really large here, so it's easier to see on 1080p. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, let's get rid of this. We have this here, and what I need to do is SSH, oops. I need to SSH into my NAS. Oh, whoops, it probably would help if I actually put the right password in. All right, we're gonna go to volumes, workspace, Jesse, projects, GB Studio, Reaper Boy, meta tiles. And while we're here, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. I'm gonna try, I haven't had much luck in getting these to like version control correctly, but we're gonna do git init. And we're gonna create a new Git repo out of this. I'm just looking through this to see what the, sure, let's just do git add all, git status, git commit. We're gonna do initial import, and then we're gonna do git git branch v0.1.0, git checkout v0.1.0. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to run, I think I have to get this permission to run. Oh, whoops, I had the wrong keyboard layer on. Print files. Why does it keep doing that? I need to get some more room here because I can't see what I'm doing. All right, so I always forget the chmod thing. Cool. We'll do chmod No file. Print working directory. Ah, okay. What would probably help is if I opened up the right project. I was doing this locally before because I was having a lot of issues with the Terra, whatever they call it, DAS, D-A-S, and it keeps crashing and erasing my raids. So I'm trying to figure out what to do about that. I'm hoping that today I will be able to make some more progress and not have my entire raid obliterated. All right, hey, we get to do this all over again. How exciting is that? Let's do print files sh. We'll save this, and now we are going to SSH back into the NAS. Studio NAS local. Clear cd/volume workspace Jesse projects GB studio. What is the Reaper boy meta tiles? All right, so what are we doing here? All right, we're gonna do git init git add all git commit initial import. Oops. Oh, I got to do this stuff. I don't have this set up on this server yet. Git config. Why does it keep like? Let's just do it this way. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. And then I think the other one is email, and then this one's just jessefreeman@gmail.com. I can't remember though how to update author in GitHub in Git after updating global values. I can't remember what the command was, so I erased it because here we go, amend. Git amend reset author, and we'll do WQ and clear git status. All right, git branch. Actually, I was going to go back 1 second to the I actually really like that other song. I'm trying to where the hell is Spotify? I'm trying to save the songs that I like into another playlist so that I can just start using that playlist instead. All right, so back in here, what we're going to do is let's clear this now. and we're gonna do our worst. So the first thing I need to do, let's open up the script, and we need to chmod the script. I wonder why, I don't know why it like adds all those weird characters when I paste sometimes on Windows. Now we can clear this. We can do /print files sh, and what I'm going to do is give it the path to the plugin. We're just going to give it open, and we want to copy relative path. Are we going to do this every time? I think this is like a this must just be something with the hell is it called? PowerShell. Copy relative path. You know, I'm just going to paste everything in, and then I will deal with this later. I'll just go back and I'll clean it up. And here. So what this script does is copy relative path. Let me go back. Oh, look. What is it? For some reason, that one got pasted correctly. I don't get PowerShell at all. So what this script is going to do is it's going to actually generate out a text file with all of the code in all of these files for me. And then what I do is I take this just basically like dump of code, and I feed it into ChatGPT so that it gets context to the code base. So let's run this real quick. Invalid paths. Oh, no, those are all valid paths. Oh, are we doing the forward, backwards, slashy thing because we're on Windows and Mac? Why is this so annoying? I Now let's delete this so the script doesn't do anything it shouldn't. All right, whoops, wait, where am I? I'm in this one. Okay, clear. Of course it doesn't do this correctly. All right, once I get this working though, at least this will be a lot easier to work with. And then I'll continue to feed this back into ChatGPT. I've been in the process of setting up all my local LLMs and stuff too. I just haven't gotten around to it, and now I've been focused on this Game Boy game. But eventually I'll just have all this AI stuff locally, and then I'll have to deal with spoon feeding ChatGPT its breakfast. So where's the file? I thought it said it made it to .print. Oh, Windows, I hate. Is this a Project QB Studio? Wait, I don't understand. Where did it output this thing to? Okay, so code dot print. Oh, here we go. Now I see it. I think it took a second for it to show it. Okay, so this now is all of the code that's in this plugin for the MetaTile plugin. And this is what we're going to build the tile map editor on top of, because it just has most of the code that I already need. So here's the code. Cool. You know what? I was talking to myself apparently because I forgot to unmute it after I took a drink. Thanks, Mike. Glad you were there to help out. Basically what I was saying is that I haven't done C in a long time. I don't know how good I'm going to be at it. I don't know what ChatGPT is going to tell me to do, but long story short, the stuff that I need to build is still built into this plugin. So there is a method here called get meta tile at position. And what I need to do are build the rules that when I look up a tile because I'm about to paint, I need to look to see on either side if there are other platforms and do some math there too. Also, I need to do it when we're at the end of a platform, it does one of these caps. So I don't think this is going to be terribly difficult logic, but I always keep opening up the same thing. Or did I not like save any of my work? Those are the meta tiles. The platform patterns. Okay, this mess. This was the mess that I had worked out the other day. And what I'm going to do, so the hardest part that I'm going to have to write in C is going to be taking this mess, when it sees this mess of stuff, we're going to break up the map into quadrants. And then each of these quadrants, we're going to turn into a bit mask. So this is a bit mask where basically it's just an array of byte data or bit data. And it's either 1 for solid or 0 for nothing. And then we're going to save that and convert a lookup table of all of these byte masks or bit masks into characters that we can use to rebuild the level as sort of like a Game Genie code. Ugh. Just saying it out loud makes me scared. So, all right, let's go to this. Let's talk ChatGPT and let's sort of give it a heads up of what we're doing now. So, okay, this is my game screen. To start, I want to begin. I want to be able to paint platform tiles. Platforms are made up of 3 meta tiles. Left cap, center, and right cap. So the first thing I want to do is I want to build new APIs on top of the plugin to leverage its meta tile code. To start, let's create a new function called paint, and we'll pass in a tile XY value. Then XY value, and I think so. What I want to do, so in the mock-up of what I had here, this isn't exciting because I can't just jump into the code, but this stuff is like really complicated. So if I don't like really think through this stuff, it's just going to be a big mess. All right, this doesn't even have anything in it. Where's my tile map editor? Okay. So what I was doing originally was I had these tiles here, and each one of them represented something that you can paint onto the board. But what I've realized is that there's no reason to do that. In fact, what I really want, because this is a Game Boy and everything's so limited, everything is going to be contextually based. And let me actually, as I'm describing it to you, I will also describe it to ChatGPT. So, painting tiles. Well, I'm not gonna. Maybe I don't want to give it too much right now. So, long story short is that what we're going to do is that when we're just going to have one brush, and when we're moving around, if there's nothing around it, it's going to be a platform. And when you paint it down, it'll just make it a single two platform, making sure it doesn't collide with anything else. If you hover above a platform and you try to paint, it will turn it into an enemy. And then we'll have a counter for how many enemies and stuff like that. And then if you go back to the platform and you do it on the left or the right of the platform, it'll just extend the platform out. And between those three things, that'll give us everything we need to actually build a level. If we want to delete something, we just go back and paint on top of it. And the only other thing that's left is the player's start location, which is sort of this this thing right here. And what I'm going to do is, I think above this tile map, if I still have this running, I'm going to put the player above the tile map. There's actually a divide. You can't see it now because I turned off all the palette swapping stuff. But there'll be a line here where you can't really cross it because that's everything in this like solid blue is the tile map editor. And what we're going to do is you're going to be able to place the player anywhere along this row. Because all I need to know for the player is its column location because he falls from the sky. And the difficult part is that what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line from the player down until we hit the first platform that's in the path of the player. And then we're going to designate that platform the start position. And the start position is also the exit. And the reason for this is that it will actually remove an entire byte. You probably see all this like this level code here on the left side of my screen, and this is like this gigantic code you're going to have to type in order to build out the level. And I'm trying to cut off as many. I'm trying to cut off as many bytes as I can to reduce the code. So the easiest way to do it is for the map to be able to basically restructure itself and figure out, oh, okay, there's a block above me. That means it's an enemy, and then this and that, and then it'll piece that all together, and then I can load it up, and then I can share that code. All right. So let me go back to what my description is, and let's just start. The first thing I want to do is I want to start with just being able to draw the tile. All right, so this is my game screen. To start, I want, wait. The user can only paint tiles in the bottom half of the screen. To start, whoops. I want to be able to paint platform tiles. Platforms are made up of 3 meta tiles, a left cap, a center, and a right cap. Tiles. I want to build new APIs on top of the plugin to leverage its meta tile code. To start, let's create a new function called paint, and we'll pass in a tile XY value. And it to swap the existing, whoops, what happened to my mouse? Why did that die? Give me 1 second. I can't get my mouse back over to the Windows screen. What happened, Synergy? Why did you die on me? Okay. I think that worked. All right, there we go. Now I'm back. I have like the weirdest setup. I have a PC that I'm streaming from a closet, and I'm using this thing called NDI, which allows you to, it's like a low bandwidth way of streaming your display to OBS, which is recording it, but then I'm using Synergy to share my mouse and keyboard from my Mac to my PC, and nothing ever works for me. But luckily this is working at the moment, although it just stopped. And I want to swap the tile at that position for meta tile, for the meta tile at 50. Can we put this code in its own file next to the plugins C code in order to keep things clean? And once we have the C, I'll need help creating the JS function. All right, let's see what this does. All right, that's all the code for the code side. Let me know when you're ready. It's been a long time, but don't I need a header file? Don't I need a header file for Paint C? Yeah, you think about that for a second. Yeah, no shit. Cool. I'm glad I still remember how to do C. All right, let's close this. Let's close this. We'll save this. And now we're going to go into the engine. We're going to go to includes. And we're going to create a new file here called paint H. And we're going to copy in the header code. Oh my God, this is taking me back. I haven't done, I used to do like C, oh my God, when was this, like in the 90s? Code Weaver or something? I'm trying to remember. They're still around. I think they do like crossover. They do some sort of like Codemasters or something. I can't remember what it was, but I just remember having this book and like going through all this C stuff, and it was just like so convoluted at the time. All right, so now we're going to make a new one. We're going to call this Paint C. And we're going to paste this here. And I just want to take a look in the meta tile. Where is it getting this from? Because I don't see this anywhere else. Oh no, okay. This is in collision H. Okay, fine. It's pulling in the platform. What are you complaining about? Oh, I don't need a compiler. Thank you. I'm just not going to get I'm not going to get IntelliSense like I would want. But all right, so now we have Paint C and Paint H. And before we go, I just want to make sure this thing still compiles. So in GB Studio 4, they do something that's really interesting. Code Warrior, thank you. That was it. Code Warrior. It used to be a book that was like about this thick and yellow, and I remember it came with a CD of code and it just was like I couldn't wrap my head around it at the time. All right, so an interesting thing about what GB Studio 4's plugin system does is that basically these are overrides to the core engine. And that means that I can basically add logic anywhere I want inside of the engine. And what it does is when it goes to compile, it has like a folder where it exports the engine, or it just includes, I don't know the mechanics of it. I haven't looked into the hood, but I got the general concept of it. It basically imports these files when it compiles, and then it does the compile and gives you back the Game Boy game. Now I can't remember if C requires the file to be used in order for it to be compiled, but I'm pretty sure, since it's an ancient language, that it just compiles everything, and there's very little optimization. Do any other classes need to, or any other files, I don't even think they're classes at this point, to reference paint C in order to be compiled? I'm going to restart this to see if it fixes the return. Nope, it's just broken again today. That, or it's a very weird UX thing they do where they switch out. You can't just hit return when you're in some of these other models. No, nothing else needs to be modified. Paint C directly. Just add paint C, and any C file that calls paint, add the include. No other files are needed in the paint reference. Okay. Now let's take a look at this engine for a second here. Okay. I don't think we need to add anything to the engine. Do we need to add anything to the engine JSON file? All right. Now, how do we build a custom event? Well, it spits that out. I actually didn't even look at what it did here. All right, so I see what it's doing. All it's doing now is it's replacing the meta tile with 5. Void paint. Ugh, U bytes. I don't remember what banked does. All right, but here we're at least using this, so this should work. This is a pretty low level thing. Let's call this event paint tile JSON. We'll add a new file, event paint tile JSON. And we'll copy all this in and let's save it. So, confirm that works before moving on. Yeah. Let's see where it adds this to. Let's insert an event before. We're gonna go to meta tiles. And I don't see it here. I wonder, I don't know if I have to restart GB Studio in order to get that to work. All right, my assumption is that, let's just save our changes. Let's switch projects. This is my local file. I don't need this file. We're just gonna stick with this one. I'm hoping that by just reloading this, it will now give me that plugin script. Insert event before. Paint tile. All right, so I'm gonna pass in, because why do this? Why hard code this? Let's just go right for the throat. We're gonna now pass in these selector X and Y. we're going to disable this event and set selector position to 10. Let's disable this event too. And let's see if we can just move this guy around and paint. All right, so we'll move this down. And hey, look at that. It did something. It painted a tile, it's just not painting it in the right place. But that's promising. Let's enable this event where it forced it over to, let's actually make the Y something like 15. And let's see if it will now paint in a different place, so we can see whether it's hard-coded or not. This is the part in the project where I get like super excited. I'm like, yes, something works. This is going to be great. And in an hour, I'm going to be banging my head against the wall, because as soon as I have to start adding in the more complicated stuff, this is going to start falling apart. But maybe today will be different. All right, so it is painting this tile, but it is only painting it in one place. So what we need to do is, let's tell ChatGPT it's being an idiot. Okay. I can verify that the event works and a tile is painted, but I was passing in the selector X, Y tile, and no matter where I put the cursor or the selector, the new code paints the tile at the same place on the map. Is it accepting the map coordinates correctly and passing them to the meta tile API? All right, while it thinks through this, I'm going to go get my chair. I will be right back. I'm just going to mute the mic so you don't have to hear my everything move. Okay, I am now back, and let's see here. Yes, in your compile, you're pushing the Y first and the X. That matches the void paint bytes reverse push convention. It's always feeding at 0, 0. Double check that your event X and Y fields contain the selector's map coordinates. Here is what I have. Oh, you know what? What I noticed is that this doesn't update. Hold on. Let's insert event before set actor. Or actually it's variable actor position, store actor position in variables. Let's do this selector, and we're going to do v selector X and v selector Y. Let's update this, and besides realize I'm moving this, but I'm not actually saving the position. So let's see if this paints it in a different place, and then maybe the error was on my end. Yeah, it doesn't, it's... delete event. Here's what I have. It looks like everything is set up correctly. On my end. I sneezed so loud that it broke the audio in my... What is going on? Why is that all weird? Hold on one second. I don't know what, it's so weird. I don't know what it does. Like sometimes the audio just on my end, I think that, is it still working correctly? Still your background music? It does. Like sometimes the audio just on my end, I think that, is it still working correctly? Still your background? Yeah, all I hear is like, all right, I'll just mute the audio and deal with that later. Okay, yes, it is in your compile. It is in your compile to push TY then TX, so the VM's getting in the right order. If it still draws in one spot, it means the numbers you're passing are always the same. In other words, the compile. Yeah, sure. Okay, I got that part. All right, let's disable this. And let's see if we can just, right before we go to paste it, we'll just put this over to the, we'll just save the position and force it into saving. Are in map tile. Double check that those two variables are actually changing and are in map tile units. All right, so why don't we do it this way then? Why don't we make it 10.5? And let's see what, actually I want to put it right here. So this is 5.12. So 5.12. I was trying to get the music to work, but whatever. All right, so let's do this, and now we're going to paint, and it still paints in the same place. I am now passing in values instead of variables, and it's painting in the same place. Something is wrong in the code that is not letting me be able to paint a tile where I want on the tile map. See, this is the moment I was talking about where I'm like, oh, I got it to paint. This is going to be easy. This will be a great day. And now it has no clue what it's doing. And I don't either. But let's go take a look at this for a second, because we're in Paint C. If we call X and U byte, I just want to see, why can't I load this? What is this script CX thing? The C side is fine. You're already pushing Y and then X, so paint, get decide which space your X and Y are in. I'm looking at the replace method, and it doesn't take in X, Y. What is this script? CTX multiply this mean. I'll be right back. I just got to go do something real quick, and then we'll figure out what is going on with this code. Okay, I'm back. All right, let's see what it said here. In GB's VM, every native handler is declared as this. Here's the simple pointer to the VM's execution context. The VM does not pass your XY arguments. Instead, when you write in JS, those two values get pushed to the VM's internal stack at runtime. Inside this function, you simply do something like this. Generated glue code actually takes care of these pops for you if you've registered a C function in the right prototype. So this is just the VM frame. Okay, so then let's go back to Paint, because copy. Then why are you passing in these values? Also, I'm confused because it said something about it being. It said something about it being backwards. The key point is that the VM wrapper that pops the arguments off the but is a plain C function that actually calls into. In other words, that causes the VM runtime to invoke a generated wrapper. VM wrapper auto-generated GB does this. Your C function then calls this. So VM star handles always the script the pointer. Blah 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 is a normal C parameter then call. That's why Paint needs to accept the byte. It's the function that actually uses the two numbers the VM popped off its stack. So what happens if I set this to 5, 5, and we rebuild? Cool, now I have no sound. Whatever. I'll just put my volume down and continue on. All right, so now what I want to see is that if we go to paint, it's still putting it in the same place. So something isn't getting passed correctly. And ChatGPT is in one of its modes where it now is going to tell me that it's right and I'm wrong. So how come when I hard code an X and Y value, it's still painting the tile at the same place as before? Is this the part where it starts apologizing to me and saying, oh, you know, you are so right and I'm totally wrong and blah, 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 blah. Ooh, just got a notification that my Switch 2 is on its way from Walmart. When will it be delivered? I guess tomorrow. All right, let's see. Hey, Mike, if you're still there, did you get your Switch yet? Because replace always writes to the world map tiles, Hardcode 5 will always replace the meta tile at the world tile column 5. Same spot every time. Not a screen pixel or selector coordinate. If your view is currently scrolled so that the world tile 5.5 is, say, in the middle of the screen, you'll always see the changed tile in that same place no matter where. If you really want paint under the selector, you must convert from selector/screen coordinates into world tile coordinates before calling. For example, if your selector gives you a screen, this is what hold on a second. Like, this is what is driving me nuts right now. Hold on. Why all the hoops? Can't you just pass the same X, Y value I pass to the replace meta tile? Shouldn't that handle the conversion? Like, if I go and I call, like, let's save this real quick and let's go back into here, and I'm going to call, let's set up an event before replace meta tile at position, and we're going to set this. My Walmart one isn't getting delivered until tomorrow. I picked up GameStop last night. Not sure what I'll do. Oh, hey, I need an extra one for my kids, so if you want to sell it to me, I'll buy it from you. Haven't tried it much yet. Did Mario Kart Racing, tried Street Fighter. The yeah, I'm interested in the Mario Kart one. Let's see, replace tile 0, 0. So what I want to do is I want to replace tile, let's do 4, 4 from the meta tile set, and we're going to replace it with tile 4. And this is irrelevant. The other one is hard-coded, and let's see what's going on here. All right, so now if I hit B, all right, that's weird. I thought that I'd fixed this. I thought that I'd gotten this in a way where I thought I didn't have to have the unique tiles anymore. Let's make this 10. Now I'm confused because I swore that this plugin didn't really replace all the tiles like that at once, unless I'm not doing something wrong. All right. Well, I will say this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That didn't really do much for the positioning. Oh no, am I gonna have to come up with unique tiles for every single thing? No, this replace tile add is the wrong thing. Hold on. Disable this event. What we need is insert event before. In the meta tiles, there's a replace meta tile. Submap meta tiles. And here we're going to do 4, 4, 4, commit to render, and go. Yeah, have fun. Enjoy. Are you coming into the city? I'll just text you off. But yeah, I'd be interested in that switch if you aren't going to go and try to sell it at a profit. I don't think that, I think there's so many of them out now. I don't think that many people are going to be able to scalp it, but yeah, we could figure something out. All right, so now this is drawing at 4, 4. This is technically 5 because we actually have all this here, and this is now working. So what I want to do is, let's go back into the code here, and I'm going to remove this, save it, and try this again, and see if this 5, let's just do it 5, 6, and see if this works. Let's do this. Edit. Now we're going to draw. So now, okay, now it's going back to this garbage where it doesn't matter where I post this. Okay. So, all right. Let's take a step back. I've done some testing, and if I use the replace meta tile event and pass in 4, 4, it paints to the right position. If I pass in, if I hard code 5, 5 to the paint event, paint C function, I can get it also paints correctly. But if I revert back to passing the paint functions x, y to the replace function it's calling, it doesn't work and goes back to the center hard coded position. I feel like you are not correctly passing the values from the script event to the C logic, so it's defaulting to a place on the map and not working. All right, let's see what this does. Oh, I'm not confused about this C function. You're the one who's confused. Change the push order so you push X first, then Y in your paint event JS. Replace this order. That way when the VM pops, paint really gets, but nothing in the paint function looks is looking at the stack. Paint function. Yeah, that's a good name for this. All right. The good news is that once we solve this one little problem of being able to paint wherever we need to, everything else should be a lot easier, because then it really is just about looking up tile locations, seeing what the tile type is, and then painting the correct tile. The reason you're hard-coded works by passing through paint. It doesn't is almost always the VM wrapper isn't popping your JS push values to the right C parameters. Remember, in JS you do. That means the stack top bounds is YX. Auto-generated VM paint script stub will do everything roughly like this. In other words, whenever you push the last ends the first argument. No, but this isn't. You're not listening. It doesn't matter what I put in the X, Y value from the event in GB Studio. It always paints the tile at the same location. So something is not getting the correct location in the paint function. If the replace function used script ctx this, why don't we follow the same and manually ensure the X and Y value is correctly passed along? Yeah, you have a good think about that, because I think you're wrong. The user is frustrated. Because using the manually popping the values. It seems the user didn't register the function correctly. They might have used call native paint, but forgot to properly register VM paint. Add an explicit VM paint wrapper that pops the XY script and calls your C. For example, all right. So let's do this. And we'll include all of this. And then make sure you have paint H Let's go fix the header. And in the same Paint C, your Paint X stays as, oh, okay, whoops. Go back to Paint. Now, when your JS does stack pop, the VM will invoke Paint and pop those into the thing. But I don't know if this is this correct? So I'm looking at the stack push TYTX. Not quite. Swap the push. It should be like this. All right. Now let's go back and try this again. Luckily, a lot of this logic already exists in the plugins, so I'll just start duplicating some of that stuff if I need to. I've never done one of these plugins, so I don't understand the how you pass it back and forth. All right, this now, I'm getting this error. But let's look at how this paint works, because well, this is the event paint meta tiles. Once we do this, VM paint, I'm assuming replace meta tile is private. Okay, so in the C code, we do this. In the header code, we do this. And here, we do this. And save and rebuild. I seem to be getting the same errors. What is going on here? All right, so in Paint C, we'll do that. In Paint H, we'll replace it like this. And in the JS code, I'm still doing that, I believe. I wonder how the JS code gets. I guess it gets compiled down into something. I think it becomes VB script or something. All right. Now I've gotten to the regular place of my coding where I thought this was going to be easy, and it is not. Here's a minimal compiled ready. Paint C. Oh, whoops. Here, paint C and paint H. I think we're gonna have to go back a minute because I don't think it's actually, I think it's just making shit up now. And it is not giving me anything to work with right now. Nope, it is compiling it. Nope. All right, I want to go back to, where, whoops, that's too far back. Yeah, let's go back to here. And let's go back to, here. And we're going to leave this fine here for a second. And I just want to rebuild this and get this actually compiling again. All right, so it's back to painting. Now, what I wanted to figure out was let's go here. Let's take a look at how the other thing works. Here's our meta tile C and our meta tile H. I'm just going to put meta tile over here for its header and for paint event. This will be the header. This will be the paint. Okay. No, wait, this is I already have that one. It's the meta tiles. All right. So we are calling replace meta tile. And what I don't get is this part. Wait. I reverted back to the older code. I want to talk more about this function and how it works so we can emulate it in the paint. One thing I'm kind of interested in is I wonder if we can, thought for a second, the VM native handler is generated by GB Studio GBX whenever you expose a C function like this. Your JS compile pushes 4 bytes into the VM stack, X, Y, tile ID, and commit. When you call native replace meta tile, GB Studio invokes the VM replace meta tile script this. Inside VM replace meta tile, the code pops those 4 bytes in the VM stack using and calls the real C function. Excuse me. To emulate that same pattern for your own paint function, you need to do 2 pieces. C wrapper, VM paint that grabs the arguments from the script and forwards them to your internal logic. Do not call script ctx pop yourself. Use the get script arguments macro, for example. And all right, so let's try this to see if it actually fixed this a little bit better. This is our paint. C. This is our header file for the paint. And then this event pushes what needs to happen. All right, now let's try building this out. Let me copy this over and getting an error again. The problem is that there's no way for me to print out a log from the C code after it's compiled. All right, I just feel like we're going around in circles thanks to ChatGPT, which is pretty much how I thought this was going to go. Is this JS file correct? I wonder, it's like so hot in my studio. I'm gonna try to reverse the fan. Maybe I can do it the other way and see if it makes it cooler. Yes, pushing TSM becomes, as long as your C wrapper uses byte. Let's see. Same issue. Or I should have said still getting same errors. VM wrapper replaces I got this, I got this. I understand all this. The problem is, what is causing this error? Because the VM stub props exactly in that order. You never see script CTX. This in your own call to replace metadata. It already extracted your 4 values for you to mirror this for 2 arguments. Painting. How do I fix this error? In your version of GB, the getArgument macro either isn't available or works differently. The easiest fix is to switch to the lower level script getArgument API, which everyone supports, instead of get script arguments, for example. So C. This is the header. So let's go back here. Let's go to the header. Let's go here. This isn't going to work either. I think I know the other thing that I can do. I'm going to try to come up with a like really simple debugger. I wonder if I didn't save that file when I tried to compile it, and maybe that was the error. But let's see if this toned down version works. I don't think it's going to. There's something I'm missing between the way that it... Yeah, here. See? Okay. I have another idea. The other idea is going to be this. First off, let's go back to this for right now. Let's go all the way back to this, and let's go back to this. So before we do anything, I'm just going to rebuild this to make sure it builds. So my idea is that I'm going to try to take the number that is being passed in and draw it from one of my characters to the tile map so I could see what number it sees. So, okay. Okay, let's do this. Let's try this another way. I've reverted the code to the following. And I want to print a number to the map I want to print a number meta tile to the map based on the number that gets passed in. My numbers start at meta tile. Actually, I'm just going to do this here myself. So, I want to replace this tile. Let's see, where is... I want to replace... Let's replace this tile right here, which is... it's 4, 3. So we're going to replace tile 4, 3, and then we're going to use tile ID 22, which tile ID 22 is going to be, what is this? This goes to 19. Ugh, I hate to have to do this manually. It's, hold on, where's my calculator? Actually, I want Numi. All right, so the way we can calculate this is that it's 20 plus 20. No, wait, yeah, 20 plus 20, right? We're at 1, 2, 3, and then plus 1, I think. That should give me 61 is the value. Where is this code? So we're going to do tile 61. So we'll save this real quick, and then what should happen now is that when we draw the tile, we're just going to get a 0 that pops up at the top of the screen. And then I'll have ChatGPT help me with the math to fix that and get the right ID. But let's just make sure I'm starting at 0. All right, so that was D. So I'm off by quite a bit here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 minus 13. Is it 48? It's interesting. When I replaced the meta tile, I wonder what was making that other meta tile. Oh, you know what? I was doing it manually. That's why. Because I was calling it from an event. All right, so let's see if we get 0. And then what we'll do is we'll have ChatGPT help us print out the numbers based on what number is being passed in to the tile map. All right, so we do this. We're at 0. Great. If we continue to do this, it eventually paints the number there, or paints the tile there. Okay. Let's see here. Where's my code? All right, let's try this another way. I've reverted the code to the following, and I want to paint a number meta tile to the map based on the number, excuse me, that gets passed in. My number starts at meta tile 48, which is 0. And here you can see my second replace meta tile call draws a 0 to the map. How can we draw the X and Y values to the tile map so I can see what is being passed in, where my number characters start at 48 plus 9. All right, let's see if it helps us come up with a way to hard code this a little bit. All right, let's see if this works. And just to keep this simple, I am going to, all right, yeah, we're going to pass in 6.6. We're going to disable this event and run this. So now what should happen is that I want to see 6.6, although I probably should have done this as like 2 different numbers. Whoops, error token. Oh. That was dumb of me. All right. And while we have this opportunity, let's set this to 5 and set this to 6. All right, that didn't do anything I wanted. Four comma 3. Let's just do it this way. 48 plus X. 1. All right. Because I'm like willing to bet $100 that the issue is that the X and the Y is not being passed in correctly. And What is going on? Okay. Okay, I've done several more tests, and I think what has to happen, honestly, I think if we go here and we take a look at the map tile, they did something here in order to you know what? We could do it this way. If we just pass in X, I can see what tile it is, and then I can come up with what that value is. So let's just try doing it this way. And then we'll skip this whole offset thing. I should have done that from the beginning. All right, so the real question is, I think this value is coming in at 0. And in fact, I can confirm that if I do this. Let's take this X plus 5, which should get us over to the, that should get us over to the palette. The platform. And now we'll see that we are not, whatever value is getting passed in is just becoming 0, which is what I kept trying to tell it, but it didn't want to listen to me. Interesting. It's really hard to tell what's going on because I haven't gotten to a tile that I recognize yet. So let's just do 10 and go from there. The problem is that there's a lot of like empty tiles, so it could be any one of those empty tiles, and I'm just not. There we go. So what's really interesting about that is that it's drawing from here. Instead of from here. Wait, let me move this and this here so we can see what I'm talking about. All right. Where is ChatGPT? Okay. I have identified what I think is the problem. The tile being drawn is coming from the wrong place in the VRAM. Here is the code I ran, and instead of a tile coming from the meta tile area in VRAM, it's coming from a place higher. So something is wrong with the X and Y values we are getting, and there is a conversion that needs to happen. Now, you know what we could do? I think the other thing we could do is let's do this for a second. Let's not scroll the screen. And I want to see if it gives me the same tile, because I want to see if it's the issue is the scrolling is the problem. Oh, that doesn't really help me. Let me just see if I can just do this right now. I'm just going to force him to actually stand a little higher. It's amazing how tired I feel when... Oh, cool, that didn't work either. That didn't work because it didn't... it isn't... Which do I need to do? All right, let's just turn that into solid. And now when we rebuild, it should... now it should replace that streak across the sky and make it a solid. There we go. So now same thing. All right, so it has nothing to do with this. I've also removed the camera move, and it didn't change the tile painted to the screen. So the issue is whatever the X and Y value being passed to the paint method is wrong, or not what it should be for this to work. Now let's go back and we're going to give it the code that I wrote. And let's see what it thinks about that. I'm talking, but nothing's coming out. Wait, to visualize exactly what X and Y are when your JS calls draw their numeric value as a digit meta tiles, a known corner of the tile map. If you want to see both X and Y, draw a map tiles here. But I'm telling you, I did this already. Right, I did that, and it didn't work. Right now, I am trying to figure out what is going on with X. So let me do one other thing here real quick. I don't know if this actually... Wait. I wonder, this is a separate issue, if the changes we make in the JS plugin, any edits you make to the event files won't take effect until you restart or close and reopen your project. All right, let's do this real quick for a second. I want to see what's going on here. We'll close this. We'll save our changes. I should have just done reload. Just now I got to find this thing. All right. I want to see if it now paints a different tile. Because I think there's two things that are going wrong. I don't think that I think the X and the Y were reversed, which is fine. But then I don't think it's actually, I still don't think it's getting the right value. And we're just going to have to keep sort of plugging away at this until we come up with a system where we can you know what we should do? I want to create a debug function called print and then pass it the numbers and convert the numbers. We can try that next. Let's do it that way. All right, so, oh, look at that. I don't know why it changes between those two things. That's not right. Let's try something else. I want to add a debug function that prints a number to the screen. The 0 through 9 characters are at meta tile ID 48 through 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. So in the print, or in the paint function, it should also call the tile function, pass in the X value, and print n tile will use the meta tile numbers to print to the screen. No, you're not following me, idiot. No. Oh, I see. All right. Let's update paint H. And let's update paint C. And now, whoops, hold on a second. I hate when it does this, and like it gives you code, but it doesn't like, paint C. How does paint C compile if it doesn't have its header? No, I don't care about it being called from the script. I want to just call it here. And this should be at 4, 3. Let's hide this, we'll save this, and now in the header we just need to add this method. And then I can just rerun it, but it's going to recompile anyways using that number. And warnings, function print and implicit declaration, error 101, too many. You know, we just do this way. Let's just get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. We know that 48 is 0, right? So now if we just rebuild this, we should see 0, and then we're going to add X back to it, and then I'm going to figure out where the hell this thing actually lives. All right, so that does 0. Now we'll do this plus X. All right, so it gave me a blank tile. And now what we got to do is we got to figure out where that blank tile is so that I can backtrack and figure out what the number is. So if we just came in here and we had it do X, save, and rebuild, let's figure out where the base value is. So it's giving me a blank tile, which is unfortunate because there's lots of blank tiles all over the place. So let's see if we add 2, and let's see if this is the blank tile that it's giving us. So we'll come back in here. This is just the annoying part of it, because once I figure out this offset and all these things, and everything else should fall into place a lot easier. It's just this, whatever this conversion stuff is from the X and the Y and the tables and the columns and passing the stuff over and blah, 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 blah. All right, so that gave me a solid dark. Let me actually see something else, because I think if I only did this as 1 and saved it, and then came back and reloaded. Oh, I'm gonna turn off my camera so I can open up my door a little and get some air in here, because I have no AC in here, and this is strangely hot in this room. Nope, wrong thing. This, and get rid of me there. Yay. All right. So let's see here. What we're gonna do is, let's get this tile again. So that, all right, so that didn't give me any, I'm hoping it's actually pulling from here, but I'm not entirely sure. So let's just keep incrementing until we find something that we can use just like we did before. So let's do 4 now. This is just gonna be time consuming. This is just gonna be a lot of trial and error, and this is just a byproduct of not being able to actually output any like meaningful console logs. So now that's blank. Let's do 5. Another empty tile. I think when we got to 6 or something, I think then it started pulling out. Then it started pulling out other numbers, but, nope. All right, let's do 7. Let's speed this up because I don't feel like doing this all day long. So let's do 5, 8, 6, 9, 7, 10, 8, 11. I mean, I don't know why my brain isn't, maybe because I'm just like sitting here and I'm hot in this room, but this is, this should speed this up considerably. And plus it'll give us a better view of where it's sampling from. So this isn't helpful at all. What we're going to do is we're going to do, how do you declare a uint let's do 11. And now what we'll do is we'll just increase these now on top of that. Assuming this even compiles correctly. If you're just tuning in, I'm just doing the laborious task of trying to figure out why I can't pass in the correct column number from the JavaScript event stuff. Oh wait, let me go back here. All right, so that's doing something interesting. FG. Let me erase this for a second and let's do this way. We're gonna do plus offset plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 and plus 5. Then we're going to set the offset to 0. And when we run this, we'll just see what tiles it prints out. And then what I'm going to do is go in to the script and I'm going to change it to be 0 as well. Now it doesn't like this idea. Syntax token offset column 18. X plus offset 5. Why doesn't this like this? Is this the offensive one? And it might just be using a unit that's not big enough for that number. I don't know. It's a pretty small number, so yeah, token offset paint 13. All right, why don't we just do it this way? Oh, I see. It's this is the problem. I forgot to add a closing semicolon. Token offset column 18. Let's see if ChatGPT can help me at least on this. I'm getting a compile error. Can you tell me what is wrong with this? The problem is a typo in your type name. Change unity to a valid integer type, i.e. unit a. Okay, yeah, fine. Or byte. That's what I thought it was going to be. I knew I was pulling out the wrong type. Maybe oh, I misspelled it. No wonder. Then why did it compile earlier? That's a bit sus. Did we save? Good. Let's do this now. All right, edit mode. Those are the color things, fine. All right, so now what we need to figure out is if I come back in here, I go to where we call this script, and instead of telling it to paint tile 5 and 6, let's paint tile 0, 0 and see what happens. All right, so it looks exactly the same to me, which to me, like if I change this to, let's say 50, or even let's just do like 20, we should at least get different tiles somewhere. Like randomly, we should at least run into some other tiles. So something, whatever this number is coming in is just way off base. All right, now I don't understand. Let's set this to 10 and see if that makes a difference, and maybe it's just the reversing of the X and the Y, but nope, isn't doing anything. Okay, all right. Different tests, and I can't figure out what number X and Y actually are in the place meta tile offset and setting the X and Y of the paint in paint script values to 0, 0. I should see the first 5 meta tiles. However, when I do this, I see I don't know where the tiles are coming from. Wait, are sourced. And changing X or Y to 2010 doesn't change them either. So the offset works, but the number coming in from the X and Y values are bad. All right, I think I'm going to take a break in a little bit. It's getting a tad bit hot in this room. I'm going to let this air off and cool off, and then I will come back maybe a little later after lunch, or I might just... This isn't very exciting stuff to watch me fumble through. So maybe I'll just do this on my own and make tomorrow a little bit of a more interesting stream. But the problem is that you are adding plus 10 offset to X, which is not the correct starting position for your digit metatiles. 0 metatile is... Now if you call your paint... No, wait. This is garbage. Wait. That still doesn't change the fact that I'm not seeing tiles from the metatile map to match the offset. See here. All right, let's do this. We'll set this to 0, and I have like a couple dozen more ways that I can test this. I might just wind up doing a condition and then printing a specific tile based on that condition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me set the offset by... Let's set the offset by 5 and see if we get the next round of tiles. It doesn't do much for me. We'll just keep increasing this bit by bit. It's not really bits, but get the idea. Or at least understand the expression, hopefully. That's amazing because nothing is changing here. Like, could X equal 0 and I just zero this out? Could that be so corrupt that it's just like off in a different like world? Yeah, look at this. All right, wait, that still doesn't change the fact that I'm not seeing tiles from the meta tile map to match the offset. After doing another test, if I change X to 0 before calling the replace meta tile, I can see the correct range of meta tiles. So I don't know what X actually is. Something is being corrupted when x is passed into this C function. All right, I'm going to head out. I will maybe stream later today. I don't know. We'll see. This is starting to frustrate me. So it doesn't make for very entertaining streaming. But let's aim for tomorrow morning, and I'll get all this stuff working. So, all right. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.